Welcome to another episode of Dynamite Delight. I really don't know what to make of this show. It wasn't a bad show. It's trying to build to the pay-per-view. And a lot was going on. But there was something missing. And I'm not exactly sure what it is. Maybe it's just me. I admit, not myself still. I'm better, but I'm not myself. So something doesn't feel right. But I think I might have an idea, but I'm not sure. Let's open with the Moxley. The Mox. He comes to the ring from, I believe him coming from the stands is still okay, but one of these days he's got to come from the back. At least once or twice he needs to come from the back, at least once. A little change up, because doing the same thing as a Roman Reigns is not something I feel comfortable with. But was he talking well? Yes, he was. He pretty much said, I'm not going to stop what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm coming after you, Chris Jericho. I'm coming after the Inner Circle, even though I know that I just want what I want, which is the title. I got to come after all of y'all, because I know all of y'all are going to come after me. But the difference between him and Jericho, he says simply, I may not be a saint, but at least I got enough honor to do what I do it my way. I know that kind of sounds a little weird, but pretty much he's saying, I do it my way. I got my sense of honor. I'm going to face you straight to your face, even if it's totally stupid and I lose. I'm just going to do it. And pretty much Chris is the champion, always going to hide behind the Inner Circle. And we get the Inner Circle coming out because Chris comes out because Moxley screams at him and says, I don't want to wait until the pay-per-view. Just come out and get your ass whooping. Not a match, just your ass whooping, because that's what he wanted. Chris pretty much said, I don't need to do a damn thing. I got my boys, and I got a couple of extra guys from the Bronx, and he calls out an extra 5 guys, which comes out to everyone is 10. And he says, you want to try something, Mox? Come on. And pretty much Moxie said, OH. And he pretty much says, I got Ohio behind me because I am from Cleveland, Ohio. This is my town. These are my people. This is my yard. I'm coming for you. And he comes out of the ring and pretty much he paradigm shifts Ortiz and one guard, and then everyone comes out. I'm just going to say it in disrespect. Was this a good segment? It wasn't bad. I just hope they don't do this often. Because this, in a sense, if you do it too many times, will be WWE-esque. Now, this is the first major time they've done this, so I'm going to give it, in this respect, as something new, because pretty much this wasn't scripted like WWE. This is Moxley saying what he felt was right, coming up with his own stuff, coming off the cuff, as well as Chris. They probably talked about it, and they came up with it like this. So it is still very fresh. But the beatdown and one guy getting nailed and fighting everyone off is like a WWE thing. At least he only took out 2 guys and not all 10. That is the thing that does make it different, but it does kind of feel like a WWE type of thing, which is any wrestling promotion can do this. But because the WWE has done it so much, it feels like a WWE thing when it's not. This is just my point of view. You guys tell me below. Now, the match that was stupid. I'm saying it right now. And I think the reason this show was off was because of presentation. of certain... you call this a tag team wrestling company. This company cares about tag team wrestling more than WWE, more than Impact Wrestling, more than anyone else. But when you look at this match between the Bucks and the Butcher and the Blade, why do I care? The Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny was brought in to do something, and they failed. The Butcher and Blade were called in again to do something, and they failed. You now have MJF go to the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny and get paid off to do a job, and they fail. So why would I care about this damn match, knowing full well the Butcher and the Blade look menacing but can't get the freaking job done? And you're talking about the Bucks, who are considered one of the best tag teams in the world. How do you think this is going to go down? It's not about the match being bad or not. I didn't believe for 1 second, not even the nail on my pinky, did I believe this. I can't believe I said that. I had to say it in something. Look, my pinky has more honesty than anyone you can think of. It knew that the Butcher, the Blade was not even going to come close to winning. And they didn't. So why do I care? Why? If you've had the Butcher and the Blade win a couple of times and lose a couple of times on Dynamite, not Dark, I might buy it. Now, I'm sure the Butcher and the Blade had probably won on Dark, but I don't watch Dark. I'm not going to watch Dark because I don't have the time to watch Dark. Like many other people are not going to have the time to watch Dark, particularly that you don't sponsor it enough. So this didn't matter to me. Particularly once the Butcher started beating up on the Bucks after they won. And then Hangman Page and Kenny Omega came out to nail them. Now, mind you, there was a nice interview afterwards where now they're trying to team all four of them up, and you still have Hangman Page being drunk and not giving a damn, and he really isn't part of the Elite. So Kenny still keeps trying to make it stay together, and it just looks like it's going to eventually fall apart, which I'm waiting for. I want to see what Hangman Page is going to do when he turns bad. Now, the match that was sloppy, because this match between the Butcher and the Blade and the Bucks wasn't bad. You felt, if you see this match, that was a bit sloppy. Big Swole versus Nia Rose. There was no chemistry there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not against Nia Rose, and I'm definitely not against Cedric Alexander's wife, Big Swole. I actually like Big Swole. She looks good. I'm not having a problem with Nia Rose. I actually like Nia Rose. She's a big, mean-ass woman. But when you stuck these two together, there was no freaking chemistry. And it was sloppy. For me, it felt sloppy. I don't know about anyone else. It just, they had no chemistry. It just didn't feel good. And by the end of that match, Big Swole losing, it felt like it brought down for Big Swole, and it felt like it brought down for Nia Rose. This should have been a squash match for Nia Rose. This should have been a squash match for Big Swole. Two separate women. They shouldn't even be dealing with each other because they just don't have good chemistry. It just looked bad. But that's just me. You guys tell me below. You had the cringe. I don't know why I keep thinking it's cringe when it comes to Britt Baker. Dealing with what happened last week when they were on the Jericho Cruise. I know it's called something else, but I'm calling it Jericho Cruise. Deal with it. But when you see Britt Baker trying to talk, I think she's just trying to be cringy on purpose. That's what I'm hoping. Because she just doesn't feel like she's a good talker to me. She doesn't feel like interesting to me when she talks. She feels like she's trying way too hard to sound really snobbish and attitudey. She just doesn't feel like she can talk very well. Maybe she's doing it on purpose. And that's what I'm picking up. And that's why it feels so cringe. But when you see her trying to mess with Tony Giovanni and saying that he's still from Starbucks and that he has gingivitis, It's okay. But when she went to JR, that is when the cringe really started, because she got upset because JR was the one supposedly who ended it. When he clearly said on commentary, I was ordered to end it. This is where things become cringy on JR's part and on Britt Baker's part, because she should know that someone ended it. Then JR is the one who made it sound bad last week, saying this has to end, I'm ending it. So it sounds stupid. It just does. And even though she tried to make it important, trying to make it about Rio, and trying to get some heat on herself, it didn't translate. It did not translate properly, and she felt like cringe, or she just didn't seem to be very good at doing an interview where she's got to think on her feet and make herself sound good and insult the person that, or persons in the situation, the way she did. It just didn't seem work. It didn't work. But that's just me. Tell me below. Cody versus Kip Sabian with Penelope. Look, I like Penelope Forbes. She is sexy. She's gorgeous. But here's the problem. I knew Joey Janela was going to show up. And I'm going like, why are you putting Kip Sabian against Cody when you know that this is supposed to be about Joey Janela? And in the middle of that match, and it wasn't a bad match at all, and Art Anderson getting pissed off at the ref because Penelope throws her shoe into the ring and he gets ejected, was, I don't think it was great. But the thing is that once those two wanted to kiss, and you got Joey Janela and he's in my face in between them, many people find it funny, but then I don't. Because what did you really gain for Joey? Because if you really want to do something with Joey Janela, after the match was over, Joey Janela should have came out. He should have messed with Penelope Forbes. And then he should have beat the crap out of Kip Sabian. And he did not do a damn thing. This was all about Cody trying to get over on Kip Sabian by doing not one crossroads, not two, but 3 crossroads to show how tough he is, because next week he's going to get, basically he's going to get whipped. This didn't work for me personally. Maybe it did for other people. I don't know. It probably did for other people, but for me it did not work. It just didn't. Like I said, I could be off, because I admit I've had a lot of problems in the last week and a half. I have been stressed out, so maybe I'm missing something. You guys can tell me below if I'm missing or am I dead on. SCU versus Hybrid 2.0 or Hybrid 2. Now, I remember these guys when they first started. And the problem for me, it's like the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. One, we don't get any video segments on Dynamite for them, just like the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. Then when you've seen them in wrestling, they have just flat out lost. And if anyone says they've been winning on Dark, means nothing. Dark is supposed to translate to Dynamite. And if you don't show these guys winning on Dark, on Dynamite, how do I know they won? You can't tell me, hey, watch the show on YouTube. It's free. It's not the point if it's free. The point is, I got to be interested in it. If Dynamite doesn't sponsor Dark by once every time, or at least 2 or 3 times during the night, they show a snippet of Dark, or they talk about Dark, or they make it interesting and hype for Dark, why am I going to care about Dark? So when this match was done, I was not surprised SCU won. But then you got Evil Uno coming out with the Dark Order saying, we're going to do something now to you. The problem here is this. If they had given time with Christopher Daniels and built this up slowly before he clearly said no, I would care. But they let him in the same segment that Evil Uno, more than a few weeks ago, had approached Christopher Daniels and said, I got my inspiration from you. and you are not doing well. Look what happened with Pentagon Jr. This is what you need. You need the Dark Order. Think about it, my friend. Think about it. You know I wouldn't lie to you. If they had built this up over almost a month or two, I would care. But I don't. Because in the end, Evil Uno doesn't have anything because, simply put, Christopher Daniels has already said no. They've already had the beatdown. Why do I care? This should have been built up. And then when he said no, and then when he got the beatdown from the Dark Order, and then he said he's going to target someone that Christopher Daniels cares about, I would begin to care. I'm sorry. I believe they messed up here. This is just me. They want to do things better than WWE, but they're rushing a lot of these storylines. And I just don't believe this is right. It's just me. Pac had, I know I'm saying Pac when I mean Pac, but Pac, and the reason I'm doing it is because he was outside, maybe in a park, in the cold, because you can see the breath coming out of his mouth, talking about, I'm coming for all of y'all. I'm coming to get ya. Not Christopher Daniels. You see, I'm still upset about that. I'm coming to get you, Kenny Omega. I'm going to do something against the Inner Circle. I am going to be messing with Pac. Oh, hey Pac, how you doing? How's it feel having only one eye? I'm going to take the other one out. He now is trying to state, I'm going to destroy everyone to get what I want. But here's the thing. I actually like, out of everyone on AEW, Pac is actually the favorite person for me right now. He is. But the problem here is this. Instead of going through like Hangman Page first and destroying him and making it clear that the 2 losses he had drove him insane and he doesn't care, he's destroying everyone. He doesn't need to talk much. He just destroys and he conquers and he conquers. He's not like Moxley. He's different. He doesn't care about talking. He doesn't care about being a lunatic. He just wants to destroy. Way more than Moxley. Moxley is methodically crazy. Pac is just a point of nature. A freak of nature. He is a whirlwind of nature. That's how he's acting. And I'm not getting that from him. And I don't know where are they going with him. He just feels like he's spinning his wheels because, guess what? He has no title. There should be a television or intercontinental or international title. That's what we need. That's the problem. He has no title. And what he's doing means nothing. And it's upsetting me. That's just me. You guys tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think he's great. But he needs something to fight for. He needs something. Okay. Private Party and Darby Allin versus, if I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry, versus PP, Pride and Power, Ortiz and Santana, and the champion, Y2J. This was a good match. Private Party is very talented. Quinn and Cassidy, and I'm remembering his name, is very good. I have to admit, him screaming a lot is very distracting. But he's a very good wrestler. But 1, I still don't see any promos from them. 2, the ring attire is of, and I'm not knocking House of Glory. I'm not. House of Glory is House of Glory. I believe they should have got a new ring attire to go with the new company they're with. But they kept the old ring attire that they got from House of Glory. And I just believe they just needed new ring attire and they need to talk more on Dynamite so I can be invested and I don't have to think about, hey, what are these guys like? I don't even know. I've only heard them once. They have one video package of them talking. And that was when they opened the company in October. Once. I have not seen nothing. So I just feel like I'm missing something. Now, The match was good. In the end, the Judas effect got done on Cassidy, I believe. And Chris Jericho and the heels win. They destroy everyone, including Darby Allin. The one who was the best in that match was Darby Allin. And understand, you're talking to a guy who does not like high flying. I like a balanced match of wrestling, smash mouth, high flying. And wrestling's got to have psychology in it. But in this case, when it comes to Darby Allin, his gimmick as like an undead guy, being willing to destroy himself to beat his opponent, flying everywhere, he has something interesting. I really like him. He's just behind Pac for me. He's number 2. He's different. He's quiet. He's restrained. And he got his ass whooped. And in the end, it was Moxley who saved him. I'll give it to you like this. This is how I feel about the entire show. It was good. It wasn't bad. But still, something was missing. Something is missing for me. I don't know what it is. You guys can tell me below, but I think that's the problem for me for this episode. There was something missing. Like what happened with the Jericho Cruise, there was something missing. Here, there's also something missing. Now, it could be because they're not really giving these guys enough on Dynamite. And if anybody says, oh, you got to look at Dark, it'll make sense. No. Like many fans, I'm not going to look at Dark. Not because I don't want to, maybe. And in my case, I just don't have the time. I don't have the time to look at Dark. There's a lot of stuff that I do. I work on animation when I'm not doing wrestling. I go to my doctors. Heck, I got to go to my doctor tomorrow. I got to do not just an AEW review today. Tomorrow I have to do my NWA Power review. I don't always have the time. How can you have the time to do stuff that should already be on your show? I'm sorry. If they're not willing to put the stuff they really need to put on the stuff on the show, then they need to sponsor the other show and make it mean something. And Dark means nothing. But that's just me. You guys tell me below. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.